The old world was rigged, designed to rip us apart. That was the world of the dead.
I know what it means to go back to Manhattan. It's cost me a lot. Almost everything.
You wanted Negan dead once. Now you want to save his life.
It's different now.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
What up, people? What is going on? Welcome. We are here with another episode of Dead City, episode 7. We got one more to go, and I will not watch it until we do the watch party. This one I cheated. I watched this one before the watch party, but I will not watch the next episode until the watch party. Ryan, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Hey, on 1/3 of Spoiler Kings, we go live Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays. So that means tomorrow night we'll be doing something, talking about probably was a killer robot or whatever that is. And we're gonna be talking about all the other TV shows. We're gonna talk about Elihu. We'll talk about I think we're gonna go see another movie tomorrow as a group. So we'll be talking about all that stuff tomorrow. So come and join us.
It's funny because I was watching last night and you guys were talking about Superman Legacy. Well, I heard they changed the name just to Superman now.
Yeah,
whatever. So, and you were saying that you are worried about the corniness. Me too. That's the one thing I am worried about. Yeah, I'm worried about that.
A lot of people like James Gunn, and I'm not sure he's the right person for this but he does understand Superman. But I do worry about him overall in the grand scheme, understanding how to give a serious topic its due. Mm-hmm. And if he does a great job, then I'm all about it. If he doesn't, I'm gonna tell about it.
100%. I'm okay if he, you're gonna put a few jokes in there, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But if you go too far, like Guardians of the Galaxy, too far, yeah, that's gonna throw me out of this movie 100%. So
I'm more worried about Thor: Love and Thunder. Good. That's why I worry about it.
That's Taika Waititi, so I don't know. I think we're kind of safe there. He goes way overboard with his shit. Like I will not watch a Marvel movie that he does again.
Just say never go full Taika. That's all.
Facts. So hopefully James Gunn does a good job because I'm excited for it. I want to see it. Tickets will come on sale soon, and I'm gonna have it. Fantastic Four tickets. You already have yours already?
Yeah, I already got it. Me and Tank went got on AMC immediately.
When did they drop? When they go on sale?
Wednesday. Last Wednesday.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check that because I know I got the tickets for Fantastic Four, but if that's the case, then yeah, I'm gonna have to get tickets for that too. But guys, we are here, and what we are here to talk about is Dead City episode 7. Nova Dani Nova Potek. If I said that right, probably
that's good.
Not.
Look at you. Look at you.
I tried. You know what I mean? Brian, what were your thoughts of this episode?
It was crazy. This showed a lot of things. As a I guess it was a very good, before your finale type of episode that started to put things in perspective. I thought that they did a good job of getting all the emotional connections, understanding the Croat, and having connect with Maggie. And Maggie started to understand it. Same thing with Negan. You start to see the connection he has with Jenny and how much he really loves Jenny. I think that was so important to understand. You understand how stupid Herschel really is. Just dumb.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
for real.
Facts.
And I think we understand, though it wasn't really shown as much, the stakes that are going to be in this finale. But it's a
100%.
penultimate. I gotta give it. It was a really good one. A lot of trippy elements to it, but overall, I enjoyed it.
You know what the best part about it was too, right? And I'm just gonna say this because we all said the Dom was dead. You know, even me, I watched the video and I was like, I'm not too sure because I saw the video, and then we watched it and was like, no, we're convinced she's dead. And the fact that she wasn't was a great fake out. They did it good on that one, bro.
You know, I'm not surprised that she's not dead, but everything was pointing towards her being dead. Even IMDb was like, yeah, this is the last episode of her being in. Lies, the lies.
Facts, 100%. And then we do have a theory on it too, right? Because the Crow ad, we believe, is still involved with the Dama. It was all their plan to get this going. And we'll explain why we think that's her plan later on in this when we get to it. But it kind of makes sense because the way things had to play out is the way they're playing out. And it seems like, yeah, the Dharma set that up. You know what I mean?
That this was all part of the plan. And the finale is going to be so good. And I think we're going to see a couple scenes. I think the scenes that we've seen, you know, in all the previews that are going to be at the beginning of the episode, like stuff is going to hit the fan from the beginning. And we're going to see Maggie with Lucille and all that stuff from the freaking beginning.
Agreed.
And it kind of works out with especially with how Negan saw his old wife. You know, sees his new wife, see his kid, see all those things. I think that was kind of preparing us to understand his emotional journey is over, and then he's going to go through something tragic, which is going to cause Maggie to pick up the bat and run with it.
100%.
And save his life.
100%. Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you so much. So the episode starts off with Maggie creeping through the halls, and we're like, what is she doing? Right? She goes into this room. And here's where I say, like, even when we seen this, right? This was like the confirmation. We're like, oh yeah, okay, she's dead, right? Because that's supposed to be the Dharma.
And you see the shoes, the same shoes. Yeah, it's right. All the stuff is the same. So I'm like, man, she went far to make sure this is working.
Facts, 100%, which all shows you that it's all a plan, right? You had to have had a body and ready to go. You know what I mean? So when she was running around saying, when Korod was running around saying he couldn't save her, he was the one that saved her. He was right there. He had to have saved her. You know what I mean? So definitely.
It's possible that she saw Negan, knew that he was going to do the plan that he did, and she acted accordingly.
And the best way, right? Fake your death, have Negan take out the rivals, right? You have Maggie with the rival. So it's kind of like, you know, we get these two groups fighting each other, and I just sit in the cut and wait. You know, when Negan wipes them out or whoever wipes out, it's done. It's over. So it makes a lot of sense. It's like,
let me ask you a question. Did they say that multiple times within the episode about the freedom? If you fake your death, no one knows you're alive. You can sail off and do other things, and you'll be free. No one knows knows to follow you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're saying that, putting the seed that's exactly what the Domino's doing. There's no one else running after me because now I could be outside the game looking at what they're doing, and then I'll pounce.
Exactly.
When they're at the weakest.
When one of the group's gonna win, right? And when that group wins, you know, hopefully she's probably hoping it's Negan's group. When that group wins, it's like, okay, you know what? Now we can take over. So this is her plan, 100%. Now Maggie is going, she sees the Dama. Oh, sorry, the Croat. The Croat's sitting there, and he's looking at the burnt body, and he's all messed up, which kind of, again, goes with the plan, right? Maggie comes in there. He needs to take Maggie to a certain spot, get Maggie to trust him, and it's just crazy. If this was the plan, which I think it is, it's crazy. But she has a conversation. She's looking for her son. She threatens him, and he pretty much tells her, I know where she is, where he could be, so we can go over there and I'll help you. What did you think? Did you think he was trying to set her up at first?
100% thought he was setting her up. And even during the show, while I was watching them go through it, I thought he was setting her up. It just seemed like that's his personality. That's what he does. He likes to have the upper hand. So I just assumed that that's what he was going to do, make sure he set her up. And everyone else has been setting up all season.
100%. And it's funny too, because we've had talks about how people say how the Dharma gets into people's heads, right? How she's kind of smart enough to, work on what people need and connect with them. That's what she did with Herschel, right? So I feel
He's
like
able to read people very well and then give exactly what they're missing. So the same things what she did, did with the Croat, she did with Herschel. She did with everyone that's been in her path. If you need something, I'm going to fill that need.
Exactly. So we always were like, oh, Negan's one step ahead of her. But we also said that, maybe he's not that one step ahead of her. Maybe they're like neck and neck. And at this point, it seems like the Dharma is kind of one step ahead of Negan at this point. You know what I mean? So it's going to be crazy to see how the rest of this episode, the season plays out, at least the last episode. So we have Negan, and Negan's looking at Jenny. He's worried about her bruise and stuff like that. And then this guy comes in, the historian, and he brings some stuff. And then he actually tells her that, they have some ointment, right? And he's like, where did you get this ointment? Oh, it's from the hospital. You know what I mean? And I think at this point, Negan is showing his vulnerability, right? He starts talking about his wife, Lucille, and how he used to, help her and with the machines and everything. And it says, you were lucky. He says, no, I was a piece of shit. And if you watch that episode, Negan, he kind of was. What do you think?
100% he is. He is, and what I think he's starting to accept that it wasn't like he believed the hype that this is all an act. He's not really this person. He could stop being that person whenever he wants. And I believe this is when he starts to realize that maybe it's true. It's not a facade that he's playing. That he's really that person through and through.
100%. And he's probably going through this dynamic of trying to be a good person, but at the same time knowing he has that Negan in him. You know what I mean? So, and that's the conflict that he's had in the last two episodes. It's like, how do I do what I'm supposed to do without, having my new wife think I'm a monster again, So,
or even he was saying, I don't know if I could not be this person. Like I thought I was playing around, not being that person because I was in control and I was just doing what I needed to do to get to see them. But now that I'm that close to seeing them, maybe I'm not playing around. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I was the problem with the city, the people that I always try to protect, and who I want to try to protect more than my wife and my son. And if that's the case, then maybe I'm the issue, and I need to stay as far away from me as possible. And with that being said, maybe he's thinking the Croat the same thing. He pushed him away because he didn't want him to become him.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when he was talking about your whole persona, everything you got is me, right? Tell me I'm lying. So that way he's like, yeah, you are me, and I got to get you away from me because everybody that I care about ends up getting hurt, dying, or you know what I mean? So I got to do something differently. And that's what he's pretty much telling him is like, listen, God keeps giving me a second chance and I have no idea why. And towards the end of this episode, he's going to embrace that second chance. And to be honest with you, he kind of made a good point at the end. We're going to get to that soon, but he made a good point. And I'm going to explain to you what the good point was, but he definitely made a good point at the end. So that's where he talked about the ointment. He goes to see his crew and they're telling him, oh, it's in the hospital, and nobody can go to the hospital or get out of there. And Negan, of course, being Negan, is like, I am going to do what I have to do to protect my people. And that's what he's always been about. He's always been about protecting his people. You know what I mean? He may have done it in some fucked up ways, but he was trying to protect his people. And I think it's going to be the same thing now. He's just not going to go to the extreme of trying to take over colonies and work and stuff like that, right? But it's like, if you come to me, it's on.
This is exactly what he's shown. If you guys cross this line, I can't help myself. And I think that's what he's spelled out multiple times. If they do these things, I'm going to go full Negan. I'm going to go full. I want to kick your ass, and I'm protecting people I love, and that's his goal. He's starting to also understand that he likes it.
Absolutely. Gut feeling Negan's going to die in the finale. Ooh, you know what? If this was the last season, I would agree with you. But I think they're planning on doing 2 more. And if they do, then he's not going to die. But I could definitely see it ending where you think he's going to die. You know, Walking Dead likes to do stuff like that, right? Ended on a cliffhanger where Negan gets shot and boom, you think he's dead. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. You know, we try and do what we do.
I still
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I still believe that Negan, he could go there. I think Maggie saves him. She makes an actual choice. Like he's at the point where he should die. He could die if she walks away. And instead, she decides to hold on and say, no, I'm going to actually be there. I'm actually going to save his life. And everything that Herschel has said, everything that Jenny has said is true. I do want him to live. I do accept him.
Yes. But you know what's good about that? Because I agree with you. But I think it could end us to where it's like, does she save him or does she let him die? You know what I mean? And it ends on a cliffhanger like that, where it's like you're not sure if Maggie is going to save him or not. You know what I mean? And then when we get to the next season, we find out she decides she's going to, right? So it could be like that. But I also like your theory of resolving her issues with Negan so we can move past that going on into the next season. So
I'd rather resolve that and then have a problem with Herschel.
I agree.
Going to the next season, have a problem with Herschel. Yeah,
I agree 100%. You know, so he tells Negan where to go. Now we have the Croat, and the Croat and Maggie are together. They're in this place where she thought Herschel was, but it's like no, we got to take him to another spot where it might be as kind of a hideout, and you know that was your son, so. She decides that she's going to go there, but he also tells Maggie that she needs sleep. And we see this going on later on in the episode that she does need sleep. And at some point, we were like, wait a minute, is he like poisoning her or something like that? You know what I mean? But
100%. We don't trust the Croat for good reason why we wouldn't trust him. But do you trust Maggie either? I know sounds weird, but I don't necessarily trust her to do the right thing either.
So you see, and you know what's funny? I agree with you, because you've seen in the first season, she acted like she needed help for Negan to get her son back when it was originally to get Negan to the Croats so that they can kidnap him or take him, right? So I agree with you. So we're not really 100%. And that's another thing that I think could be resolved at the end of the season is that, you know, we get know that Maggie is trustworthy. So I'm right there with you. Yeah.
But at what cost? There's going to be a cost to doing this thing, because I mean, you see what Herschel's saying about her, and as of right now, at the end of this episode, though a lot of stuff happened with the Dama and Herschel, but Herschel thinks Maggie is going to be on his side.
Yeah. I think Maggie being sleep deprived and her in the distance witnessing Negan do the lineup is going to cause Maggie to snap and kill Negan. You know what? That's very interesting too, right? Because even in a few episodes back where Negan was coming out of the church and Maggie was standing there and she seemed like he kind of had a crew with him, she gave a look kind of like, and I thought the shit was going to hit the fan, but then they ended up going inside and talking, right? And Negan was kind of asking her, like, what do I do? And, you know, he knew Maggie wasn't going to help. So I could definitely see something like that where it triggers Maggie as to what Negan's going to do. So that's very good. That's a very good faith in Christ. That's a very good one. Also believe Ginny is going to witness Maggie kill Negan, and it's going to set up Ginny seeking revenge in season 3.
Which would be weird because and you're right. But Jenny already, kind of almost killed Maggie, just an episode ago. And she almost killed Negan. You know, but that would be par for the course for a child who's going back and forth that doesn't really know what they think. So I would believe it. I can actually see that happening.
And we also said that, you know, Jenny more or less is doing what she's doing because of abandonment issues, right?
Yep.
It's not really that she wanted to kill Negan. It's just she was being abandoned. And you could see that when Maggie and Herschel left and Percy was like, you know, they're gone. You could see the look on her face as to like, I was abandoned again, you know? So I could definitely see that Negan nurses her back to health and they have that conversation, you know, why, and Negan's like, I'm never going to leave you again, you know, type of thing. So if that were to be the case, yeah, I could definitely see that happening, man. Definitely, 100%. You know, so you make some good points. I agree with you 100%. Hey, listen, faith in Christ. Because I love your name. And one of my friends who has a channel called Roads to Wisdom, he really does some good, you know, stuff over there. So make sure to check it out, man. He be preaching.
I mean, he's like his definitely channel. Talking about basically just finding the road and understanding his journey to Christ and understanding that how he kind of lives his life that way. How do you go each day the next step? So, you know, it's his journey. He's kind of helping out throughout there and telling the things he's thinking about during those times.
100%. You know, quick plug for my homie. Check that out. So we get Negan and he goes to see Jenny one last time. And he's asking, why are you helping me? You know, and he's telling him basically, you know, he don't remember anything. They had a nice little conversation here. I really enjoyed it. And he said something funny. He's like, if she wakes up, she's not going to know who you are. So she might
be careful.
She might kick your butt, you know? Absolutely, brother. No worries. No worries. Might kick your butt. So what did you think about this? Like, for me, it really showed, because he even kisses her on the forehead, and it really shows me how Negan always cared about kids, but she has a special place in her heart. That's why I say, if none of that happens with Negan, I think by the end of the season, Negan's going to go with his wife, his son, and Jenny. She's going to be a part of that family as well, you know, if Negan gets a happy ending. So
if he thought about that before, he could have done that the first time they were in Manhattan.
Yeah, for sure. But I think what was going on is Negan is still going through those demons of who he is. You know what I mean? And what he's done, the guilt of killing Glenn and all of that stuff. And I think where this series is going, it's kind of him accepting who he is, and then Maggie also accepting that she doesn't want Negan dead anymore. You know what I mean? So with the mirrors that they're having, I could definitely see that happening. What do you think?
I think it's the merge of his two lives. That's what he's going towards. So he's trying to give up his whole old life. He's giving it up. Now he realizes he can't give it up. Okay. So now he's going to go, okay, what can I do? But I still want my kids. So I sent my kids away because I can't give them my old life. And he's going to realize with Jenny that I'm going to merge these two lives.
Right.
And this would be my chance to kind of move on and go to the next step and actually enjoy my life at the end.
I agree 100%. I do think he's going to want to do that, right? And again, because he already feels guilty for what happened with Glenn, right? He kind of feels guilty what happened with Jenny's father, but their group attacked his wife. He had no choice but to go and wipe them out. I would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? You attack my people, my wife, then it's over. I'm coming for you. So I could see that, you know? But I agree with you.
If he didn't do that, it'll be more of a problem, honestly.
I agree. Now I have to show this because I remember when we were watching it in the watch party, I was like, who the hell? Now I think it fell down and twisted that way. I don't think it was built that way, but if it was, I was like, who the hell actually builds a lift, a tunnel with a glass floor? There's no way I'm getting in that. There's no way. Absolutely not. Right. And I was like, okay, now you know what? I just run across it. But you can't run across it because you can't put too much weight on it. So you have to. Nah, bro.
I told you that's what it's that way in Chicago. So if you go to the 96th floor of the Sears Tower, my sister works on the 95th. Go to the 96th floor, they have a place where you step out onto the ledge where it's totally clear and you can see all the way down. You know, clear days, you'll see stuff fall all the way. You can see it.
You said the magic number, 96th floor. No. I'm not scared of heights, but I'm not. Listen, when we went to go watch the Raptors play LeBron the Cavs, right? We stayed in a hotel and we were on the 66th floor. And that was going up in that elevator was a long ride, bro. I'm not doing that again. No way. Can I get on the first floor where I can walk up and down the stairs? No. Danny was mean to kids that interrupted his life. I don't think Danny's ever been really mean to anybody, bro. So, and when you call him out on stuff like that, they block you in his channel. Who does? What are you talking about? I don't remember Danny ever being mean to anybody. You guys deserve more views. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. 100%. Said best channel, not name spoiler kings. Listen, if you don't want and faith in Christ, sub to my homies. Brian, his channel does some great stuff over there too. But if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't want to know what's happening in all your movies, stick to Bigger Ford Entertainment. All right? Stick to Bigger Ford Entertainment.
Well, you know when your producers all up in your shows, all the stuff is going on. Yeah. But if you want to be spoiled and want context to go with your movie, I got you.
Fact. Listen, to be honest with you, you know, a lot of the people that we stream with, especially us over here, like we try to keep our group small, but we add people, you know what I mean? Like if someone comes, hey, you know, let's try it out, blah, 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 this and that. But I think we were able to have this connection and stuff like that. Like Brian does his own thing, and then we met, boom, we started doing stuff together. So it's all like a nice little family, man. It's really good, really good.
Gotta support each other.
Facts. I'm just saying he has no wisdom, and it's paved in. Yo, Jack, why are you dissing Donnie, bro? We're not doing that over here. I'm sorry, bro. We're not gonna be dissing Donnie. If you have an issue with him for whatever reason, then stick that to yourself. But we're not gonna be disrespecting Donnie over here. I don't think Donnie's ever done anything to disrespect you, bro. It's not cool, man. Not cool. So, anyways, let's move on. Yeah, like I said, that scaffold was no way. But we get to Negan, and Negan finds the hospital. And
I had a question about the hospital.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you heard all the people the things running up above and below and seeing all those things running around, the people running around, do you think that there was actually someone there, or did he imagine all of it?
I think he started to imagine all of it at this point, right?
But he didn't notice that he heard these people running across. He didn't even notice the first couple ones. That was weird.
True, very true. Maybe he did and was just like brushing it off. I don't know. I don't know. I feel with you. And I think again, it's one of those TV show things where it's like try to trick the people, make you think someone else is there, because it kind of fooled me at one point too, where I thought someone was actually there, right? But I like the fact that when you watch The Insider, you actually understand what they were thinking when they were doing that scene. Because I remember you were watching and you're like, what's going on here? Like, is that real? This and that, right? And then we find The Insider where they explain, you know, it's him fighting his demons and, you know, going through everybody that he failed in lifetime in the middle of trying to help somebody that he really cares about, you know?
You want to know what it was?
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen, I mean, of course you see Star Wars? Going to the swamp?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's what it was. And you seeing your worst nightmares, your biggest fears, and having to fight those fears and get through. And then those fears pushed him to a point where he needed to go. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He said, that's funny. I see it like, anyway, it's a fact that people like Roberta, and when Kid did the same, he was nice more than that. You could see love. What? All right. Anyways, I get you. No problem. So there was a scene. Now, we both had an issue with this. Brian called it out, and then when I noticed it, I was like, yeah. So when he gets in the hospital, right, he's running through the doors. There's zombies chasing him, and he puts the board up, and it's like not even, like it's not pinned to nowhere. It's just standing there. Like, so wait, zombies can't get in the door?
That's all it takes. Like all you do is put up a piece of cardboard. They can't get in. What? They could break through glass and turn knobs and do all the other stuff. But you put a piece of cardboard up, you know, you can't get through. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was wrong. I mean, we've seen them. They're zombies. We've seen them break through those things and attack. but not here.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. It wasn't part of the story, but it was just something you should have been a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Like he put a lock on
throw,
the door
throw,
or something.
or throw like one of those seats or something in there, at least to make it look like you're doing something. But anyways, Negan's running around through the hospital, and we obviously know what he's looking for. But then we switch over to the Croat and Maggie, and they're going through the house, and there's a lot of traps in there. And Croat is telling Maggie to, be cool. And Maggie said something that we both asked the question. We're like, wait, how did Herschel get through all of these traps? You know what I mean?
Herschel couldn't get out of the garden, like he couldn't get out of any of that stuff. So how did Herschel get through all this? And he said, "Oh, I told him about one time." He's talking about one time he was able to get through all these traps and booby traps. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. So Croat is showing her where the booby traps are. He tells her not to move, and we're gonna get to that. You know what I mean? But he tells her not to move, and of course Maggie does what Maggie does. So yeah, okay, over here, right? He's trying to cut the wire, and they're having a conversation, and he's actually telling Maggie that she underestimates her son, which is very true. Very true. Now, he wouldn't have been able to get through there anyways, but we've seen in season 1 and season 2 that she is underestimating him, right? Even though she kind of knows
she coddles him and doesn't understand how far he can go and what he's actually turned into in his own journeys.
Right, exactly. Because she goes to he has a little conversation, and all the trust is everything is there again, and he screws her. He's done it 3 times already. You know what I mean? They had a conversation, and then he tried to put the blood into the water reserve, right? He already did the smoke signal, right? He already did the smoke signal.
Save her life.
Save whose life?
With Maggie's, with the knives, and he cut her and cut the zombie and a bear and saved her life. Like he did do that. So I think he's just a child that doesn't know who he's supposed to be, who he wants to be, and he's still following with his first choice. And his first choice was literally the Dama, who actually saw him for a different person than he was, or that everyone else is saying he is.
Yeah, agreed. So now I'm going to play it, right? Because Maggie, and I think it was Maggie starting to fall asleep, right? She's looking at there, but he's telling her, oh, it's the heights, you get the impulse to jump. But Maggie, this is like one of her second times, or first time, because he said it, but this is the first time she's actually showing that she's kind of passing out, right?
It's only natural to want to follow them down into the darkness. End the pain. Or maybe to see them again.
So she wasn't even falling asleep. She just happened to step down, right? Man said, don't move. When you see booby traps in a place like that, you don't effing move, bro. You're not moving. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think he made these booby traps for zombies?
No. I think these booby traps were for people.
100%. Yeah. And as he spoke through this entire episode, you start to see how painful his life was, and why he seeks validation from everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
He's 100%. Especially women. He seeks validation for older women. Why? Because what happened with his mother. All the stuff that you start to see, and all the regrets that he has because of what he dealt with his mother, what he did to her and left her. So I think that's very interesting about that in itself. That he's literally trying to keep people away. I don't think he's because he thinks that he's going to be harmed, but just because he seeks so much validation that he knows he's creating his own enemies all the time. So
agreed, 100%. And it's good too, because again, at the same time, it feels like he's being vulnerable, right? He's telling this information to Maggie when deep down it's a trap, bro. It's gotta be, unless he's the wild card, to where it's gonna pop off and then he's gonna have to choose the Dharma or Negan or whatever. But at the end of the day, I still think he has a lot to do with it, because Herschel wasn't even around to save the Dharma when she was getting burned. So who did it? Who saved her? She saved herself and then grabbed the body, put it there, took off shoes. She did all of that by herself. I don't see that. You know what I mean?
She could have cut her hair. That's true. She could have done it and got out because she wasn't looking. But I mean, she's very manipulative.
Agreed. 100%. So they're walking through this little maze thing, and it's funny too, because they said they put all these traps and mazes, and this kind of looks like the maze that the Dharma's rat was walking through.
Exactly.
That's where I got that little thing from, right?
Foreshadow.
And it's funny too, because I wonder if it was set up the same way as this room. You know what I mean? Like maybe she put it this way in the room, so every time she looks at it, she knows which path to take. You know what I mean? Could be.
That would be really interesting that he did that, and that was the whole setup. That she was showing the rat like it was a mini him.
Yeah. Good point too. Very good point too. So now we get back to the hospital, and Negan's looking still for the food, but he walks and sees this little.
We should kill that thing immediately.
Now, Negan's love for kids, I get it.
That's not a kid, that's a zombie, bro.
That ain't a kid no more. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have felt no way to stick a knife in the head. I'm sorry, but Negan tries to get away. He falls down and he busts his head and gets knocked out,
Now it's interesting because we didn't see any hallucinations until after he hit his head.
That's a good point. Exactly. And it's funny too, because even after that, there's one scene where he's holding his head, right? He's like, oh, so yeah, I think that the hallucinations could have started when that happened, Definitely.
We didn't start hearing the running until he woke up.
Yeah, exactly. And then he started seeing people, right? So now Maggie, again, here at this scene, she's starting to pass out. She's feeling tired, and you can see her falling asleep and waking up. And, when we saw this, though, we thought the Croat had a plan in place where there was maybe like something that he injected her with, a gas or something like that was making her fall asleep. What do you think, Brian?
That there was another, some type of attack that was going to kill her, because she's his enemy. Something that he was planning this entire time, and she was going to walk right into this trap. So that one of those booby traps was going to be meant for her. And he kind of walked away. You didn't see him anymore. So you're like, okay, why did he just walk away?
Yeah. And then he comes back into the picture and looks at her and watches her fall, right?
Yep.
Watches her pass out. So it seemed like, oh, okay, he's up to something, But then we get back to Negan and the zombie. Negan wakes up, he closes the door, and he starts to walk around again. Like much of this episode is pretty much them on this little journey. She's looking for Herschel, and he's looking for something to help Jenny. You know what I mean? And again, this whole season has been their two lives being mirrored with each other.
100%. That's all you see is mirrors of them the entire season, and that's what you get from them.
Exactly. So it kind of showing me that the last season is probably going to be a mirror. Like I could see Maggie taking the bat and lining a few people up and be like, you know what? I just can't wait to,
what if the Dharma sets Maggie up and she thinks she kills her, and Maggie wakes up and she just has had enough, and she usually that's when she sees Lucille, and she just goes after everybody and not kills everybody. We all seen Maggie is a killing machine.
Yeah, 100%.
She kills zombies like it's for breakfast. That's just what we do. You know, and now she gets Lucille, and now she's going after not just them, but she's going after the people too, and the people that have wronged her. And maybe she goes after Dama, and then she kills the Dama, right? And then Herschel has a gun. Maybe what if Negan does die, but he dies jumping in front of a bullet from
saving Maggie?
Saving Maggie.
That would be interesting.
Will that stop? Forgive him of all his sins. It
may help Maggie forgive him a lot more. You know what I mean?
Even us. I mean, for anyone who's out there looking at their fight that they had, does that resolve him? You know, of all of his sins. I
don't know about you, but I've forgiven Negan already. I'm good. I forgive him already. He saved Jenny.
I don't know. Glenn's that's a big. I forgive him for all the other stuff. Killing Glenn, man. That's
he saved Jenny, right? He saved
killed her father. Son. Fine, whatever. Rick's son, fine. But Glenn, dude, there's no need for you to kill Glenn. There's no need. He was too far in. And that was the only thing but this will be the one sin that you probably can't get, resolution for or forgiven for. But then he gives his own life for his wife and his kid, trying to make sure his kid doesn't make a mistake, become a murderer. Doesn't kill his mother, and he jumps full of a bullet. That would be it, right?
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. Personally, I still forgive Negan. I'm like, you've done enough, Negan. You've saved enough, and you put yourself on the line for Maggie in both of these seasons already. So you're doing what? Listen.
No, man. Killing Glenn's a lot.
Okay. Hold on. We're gonna go back to From because Sarah did a lot less, and we forgave her.
No, he didn't do less than Negan.
No, I mean to redeem herself.
I don't say she redeemed herself. She just, we know she's a badass.
Oh no, she redeemed herself.
I just like her.
The minute she did that to what's his name? Yeah, the minute she did that to him, to Elgin, yeah, she redeemed herself in my eyes. So Maggie wakes up, and when she wakes up, she's in a room with the Croat, and the Croat is fixing her flashlight. And at this point, this is when we probably were like, okay, so the Croat didn't really have wasn't trying to do anything to her. She was just tired, So
he dragged her in and saved her, made sure she wasn't eaten by anything. So yeah, he took care of her.
Absolutely.
I know to do this.
And then he explains, how he's able to fix things but we're going to get into the conversation where he talks about his mom. I'll play that one a little bit more, obviously, because of YouTube stuff. But they have a nice little conversation there. And then it flips back to Negan. And Negan gets caught up where he's in a room with a bunch of kids. Now, we're already seeing that Negan didn't want to kill one of the kids. So imagine having all of these kids in there. Man.
Well, Negan should have got a belt.
Fact. I would have just walked in there, knife and all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're not kids anymore, Negan. I get the love for the kids, but these are not kids. These are zombies. They will eat your brains if you do not do the right thing. But of course, Negan creeps up to them. Now, this is what I want to ask you, because I know in a lot of other zombie movies, we have them in like a hibernation type of thing. And I don't remember ever seeing the zombies do that in The Walking Dead before.
I mean, they have to because they have to replenish themselves, but I've never seen that.
Same here. Now, if anybody has and can remind me, I'd appreciate it, but I don't remember ever seeing the zombies in this like dormant state before. But again, I'm not mad at it because it kind of makes sense, right? So even though we didn't see it, it's not something that's like out of the ordinary to where it's like, oh no, that don't make no sense, So I can see that even with the bear. Right, we haven't really seen animals get turned into zombies, but it's like, hey, you could just say that the virus is mutating, and now it's able to get into animals, right? So you could say that. So I don't have an issue with that either. It's just like when you watch. Yeah, go ahead.
what it says is Walking Dead zombies, also known as walkers, do not sleep in the traditional sense, but they can enter a dormant sleep-like state, often called as lurking. These lurkers are essentially walkers that become lethargic because they lack of food and substance, so in prolonged inactivity. So that's because they haven't eaten anything in all this time because no one's been in the hospital. They become lurkers, and that's why he's able to get away from it.
Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Jack said, "Did you guys watch the Fallout TV show? What did you think? It was good. I liked it.
Oh, I love Fallout. I can't wait for the second season.
I'm excited for next season, 100%. So Negan creeps through, and then he sees this. No, is it here? No, it wasn't there.
No, it's the next one, but
the next one. Yeah. All right, but here now, this is the kicker. All right, we have the glass floor, and it's like he already knows. Look at the words it's stopped on. It's like, here we go. Because walking across that fucking glass floor is not going to be easy. Not to mention,
Maggie's afraid of heights.
Facts. And how do you get back after what happened? So the crowd walks through. He sees no problem, but Maggie starts to walk.
This is what I have a problem with. You know what? I think if you're going to be afraid of something, right? You're afraid of the heights and everything. Maybe you should walk on the corners. Maybe you should hurry to get through and walk where there's some support. So why are you walking in the middle of it and surprised that starting to crack? No, walk on the corner.
I would have been pinned to that wall, bro, and I'd have been walking you know what I mean? You see that little metal bar around the corner on the side of the wall? Yeah, I would have been tiptoeing on that motherfucker.
Because even if it breaks, I'm going to grab it. Then I'm going to keep on be able to at least hold on till someone can get me. So why are you walking? If you're afraid, why are you crawling on the floor? You can't get out anywhere. You're not going to help yourself in that way.
Exactly. But Maggie, of course, as she's walking through, she starts to fall asleep, and then she hits the ground.
She passed out, is what it is. She was
pretty
so much fear. She was so afraid of the heights that she passed out.
And then she gets attacked by a zombie as well. She takes care of the zombie. And then we have this.
She got up and ran.
Facts. Glass starts to crack. What were your thoughts when you saw that, Brian?
That she was stupid. Maggie does too many stupid things. It bothers me. Like, to be such a cool character that's able to kill all these things and be such a badass, she makes a lot of bad, mental mistakes. Mentally, she's not very strong.
All she had to do is do a quick crawl to the beam, right? Because you see there's metal beams in between the glasses. Quick crawl to that metal beam, and then, you know what I mean? Crawl over to the next side.
I weigh 250 pounds, so that might be a problem. For her, she weighs 105 pounds. Tiptoe your little fairy tale butt on one side on the corners and get there. You're good.
Facts, 100%. Because you definitely gotta get away from that cracking glass, bro.
And fear. I mean, this is a big thing in Walking Dead. The fear that she has inside of her. She no longer fears the zombies, but she still fears heights.
Absolutely. And then a zombie comes and attacks her leg. The Croat is like, "Come, you could do it." And the glass is breaking even more. But the Croat walks away, and we thought he was gone, but he comes back with a ladder. And just as she grabs the ladder, the glass breaks. Now, you see that beam that she was holding on to as well? All she had to do was creep up to that beam. She wasn't that far away from the beam. She could have creeped up to that green, and it broke. At least you're holding on to something,
Have you ever play that game when you have like a tile that are different colors? You go from tile to tile because you don't want, don't touch the lava. That's all she had to do. Not touch the lava. Go from beam to beam to beam. Keep it going. You're now on the free glass. You're good to go. Stay in the corner and you'll be all right. But no.
Facts. He said, you guys know in the X-Files, the Subcombs episode, Scully talks succubus episode. Scully talks about the Basoda Dream Institute.
Yeah, the Bethesda Dream Institute. Yeah.
Interesting. So Croat again saves Maggie. So we get kind of, and I think they're doing this a lot, where it's like you feel like people are changing, right? You know, he started off as this mean guy, wanting to kill everybody, and now he's actually saving Maggie. And it's like, okay, maybe the Croat is turning into a different leaf after talking to Negan and all that stuff that happens. But I still think it's a trick. But he saves Maggie, and now Negan is back at the hospital, and he's looking around, and he sees something.
And he's hearing things throughout the whole thing.
Yes. So he sees a hand. Now, the way that thing climbed down from there, I was like, wait, what is that? Right? Because it didn't look normal to me. I was like, that don't look normal to me. And that's kind of where I was kind of like, is this real? You know what I mean? Is this real? What'd you think, Brian?
It had to be fake, right? Because no one else is going to be in that damn hospital acting like that, right? But I thought it was his mind trying to save him.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it must be his mind trying to get him out, trying to show him the way. And that's kind of what happened.
And then Negan catches the person and turns it over. Nothing in the bag. Turns her over. And it's his wife. His dead wife. You know what I mean? So the minute I seen that, I was like, oh, okay, so now he's dreaming. Like, it's confirmed that something is going on. He's dreaming. And this is a great scene because he's telling her he's sorry that he couldn't protect her. You know what I mean?
So sorry.
I definitely thought. Yeah. I thought he was asleep. I thought he was asleep.
Right, you thought he was still asleep after being knocked out, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was like, how he's still on the floor? Is he getting bit? Is something going on? But no, and then you see Lucille there. I'm like, what the how?
Yeah, exactly. I was right there with you at that point. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he is still on the floor there too. But she basically says, no, you help me.
It wasn't enough.
And also, she only repeated the words that he said.
Yes, 100%.
Anything new to it, she only said the things that he, said about Lucille. Like, I used to pick her up and carry her and take care of her. And then, as he's touching her, all of a sudden he has that ringing in his head, right?
Yeah.
You have a concussion.
100%. And then when he turns around, it's his current wife.
True to stare,
He's like, Andy's not there, so I mean,
yeah, because he already sent them back.
Dude, I don't know what to do. What do I do?
You could have went and asked her when she was actually there.
Facts. But that's why I love that scene, though, is because you get to the first part where he's like, I didn't do enough to protect you. And then his new wife, now it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do to protect you. You know what I mean? And I guess this is showing the conflict that Negan has been going through this whole season after he got caught from the Dharma. What do you think of this scene, Brian?
I felt like it showed that he doesn't even trust himself anyway. Though he does love, he loves Annie, he loves Lucille. He just doesn't trust that he can do anything correct. And that's why he's asking, what should I do? He's unsure of himself. You have to play, you have the persona so long, you have to play the role so long, but it's lonely. And he just didn't know how to react to it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I thought it was great, you know what I mean? The conflict that he's going through. But she pretty much directs him to this room with the zombie, and he gets in there and he gets what he needs for Jenny. And as he gets it, he sees her and she smiles, right? So when you get to when you really think about it, it's like the regret, the don't know what he has to do, and then seeing what he has to do with Jenny, get that and protect her. So I love the way they did that dynamic.
This is super. I mean, exactly. This is Luke Skywalker walking through the swamp.
Yeah, facts. 100%.
Defeating all the things you're really afraid of, fighting through your demons to get on the other side. I want to see Negan on the other side.
Facts. Me too. Me too. Alive, mind you, but I do want to see him on the other side. So Maggie and the Croat decide to have a conversation, right? She's like, no, he's not here. This is a game to you. And pretty much Croat said, he brought you there because he knew that, or he thought that,
you would be able to get in here.
He'd be able to she would kill him because he was too coward to take his own life. Yep. But she doesn't, of course. And then they have a conversation, and I'll just play the conversation.
My mother left when I was 12 years old. I woke up one morning and she was gone. I looked for her for years. And as fate would have it, I found her 2 days after she had passed.
Now, earlier, which we kind of brushed across, but when he was talking about his mom for the first time, he was saying, maybe I should go back to Croatia so I could see her again. And then now we find out that she is dead. So
I think he's still telling the truth. He wanted to go back to Croatia to see her
die.
Again.
Yeah.
To die. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know what I mean? So it kind of was like to say he wanted to see her, but it was obviously he wanted to die, especially after we see what happened in this part, So very interesting.
She had been living in Vrapče, alone. 10 kilometers from my house. So after I ended up on the island, all I wanted was to join her.
Which again, to your point, kind of mirrors what Herschel was going through, right? Herschel felt like his mother was not there for him. Croat's mother died. Then he met the Dharma.
At 12 and then died when he found her.
Yes, and then met the Dharma, and the Dharma did exactly to him what she did to Herschel, right? Because he ends up telling her, he's like, don't blame him. The Dharma has a way of getting into your head and actually, convincing you what she wants you to do. Like
she reads your trauma, and then she's there for, I'm going to fix all your trauma. I'm going to give you what you always wanted to hear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And hold on, let me go back.
How many times did I tell myself, jump? But instead, I kept wandering the streets until a candle on the window of a theater
drew me
in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame the Dharma. She read my mind, spoke it back to me. This was her gift. She saw pain. And she knew exactly what to do.
And that's exactly what she did with Herschel. She's seen Herschel's pain and she worked on it. And that's how she's able to get Herschel on her side.
She manipulated him.
Yep. Absolutely. Said, I feel like I need the OOC. I saw a clip a few weeks ago about streamers getting scammed, and my ex-wife was on their channel 2 News. Oh, yeah. Interesting. There's a lot of those scammers going on out there, so yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, don't trust anybody that's out there said they're trying to give you something you want you to give them your information. Don't give anyone your information
At all. 100%.
say, oh, you pay for the shipping and handling, I'll send you something.
Yeah,
no, someone's gonna send you something, they're just gonna send it to you.
Exactly. Now they look out the window and she sees a light, and that's when she realized that's where Herschel is, because that's the signal. Right. So Negan, get back to Negan. Negan gives Jenny the ventilation machine or whatever the hell that is, and then he has a conversation with the historian.
Kill everyone in the church.
Then we should go.
We can't go. I can't go. She stays here just like this. It's her best chance for recovery.
No, you gotta get rid of that infection.
It's okay. I know how to protect her now. I know where I got it wrong before. Back in the day when I built the sanctuary to protect my people, I showed mercy. But now I'm just gonna line them all up. And I'm gonna kill them all.
Doesn't that seem exact opposite of what he learned from Maggie and you know everything that happened with Glenn and all that stuff? He just
so no, to your point, yes, but here's what he learned, right? Here's what he learned. When he had Rick's group over there.
Oh, Rick, yeah, you true. Yeah.
He killed Abraham and he killed Glenn, right? He wiped them out, but he left Rick alive. And Rick has been a thorn in his freaking side ever since. If he had killed everybody, he would have had total control. He wouldn't have to worry about anything. So I think that's where Negan's point is like, okay, I can't let the Borat live, right? Because who knows what he's going to do, come back after me, come after my family, this or that. So the Borat and everybody, the Bruegel, and everybody that is a threat to my family is going to die. And that includes New Babylon, right? That includes New Babylon.
Will you be surprised if that's the thing that gets him killed?
If that, I wouldn't be surprised if that got him killed, if that's the thing, right? Because again, he's going against through all of this. I still think he's not. He got to have a reunion with his kid though and his wife.
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think he's gonna get that. He's not gonna get a happy ending. I don't think so.
Well, let's just say this: if they do kill him, then we know there's not going to be season 4 and 5, 3 and 4. Right?
I think there will be a season 3.
Nah, you can't do that without Negan. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's like taking. What show do we watch? And it's like, no, you can't take him out. Oh, From. That's like watching From and killing Boyd. You know what I mean? Does just.
I wonder if they do that, and then use the season to wrap it up, and then be bad as season 10 of Walking Dead. Season 8 of Walking Dead. Sorry.
I just think that sooner or later they're gonna take all of these shows and have one big grand finale movie type of an event with Rick, with Daryl, with Negan, with Morgan, right? All of these guys, Fear the Walking Dead, all these guys, I think they're all going to come back together for one final. Now, to do that, you have to have a big enough threat. And I think the best way to do that is them hearing about a cure and them trying to go and get the cure or something like that. You know what I mean? I think the series would end great if it ends with the cure. Not the way the zombies who are already the zombies, they still say zombies, but the cure to stop more zombies from coming. So I think that would be the perfect way to end The Walking Dead, to be honest with you.
Okay. I have a feeling I know what I'm going to do, but what they're going to do, but we'll talk about that.
All right. So now we get back to Maggie, and she goes to the room where the building where she's seen the light, and she's talking to the Croat, and the Croat actually says it. So let's see if I got it right.
You are lucky. Novi dan, novi početak.
Pochetta. Pretty close. Was close. Something new beginnings. That's what it means. They shake hands. Maggie decides to go upstairs, and she sees Herschel.
Mom?
This some BS.
Little fucker.
I'm glad you're here. I was hoping you'd see our signal.
Oh, you think it's like, oh, wait, what?
Almost a happy ending, and then you start seeing things in the background. Like, what?
You know?
I'm so sorry.
For what?
How everything went. I never meant for it to happen like that.
I know. Me too. I mean, I was mad.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna work out.
Hold on.
She told me it was gonna happen just like this.
Yep. He said everything's gonna work out.
How is she just gonna be swinging on me, man? Like that old lady is not gonna be swinging, knocking Maggie out. She been surprised by zombies every season, like in like 12 seasons of, if you want to add everything she's ever done. How is she surprised by a person and person going to take a slow swing and try to and do something to her? Nah, bro, that don't make any sense. It doesn't make sense.
I can't lie though. When I seen, I was like, "Oh, she is alive." And I said, they got me right, because at one point I was like, "Nah, she's still alive." Then it's like, "Nah, she's dead." And then you even brought up the IMDb, whatever.
Yeah,
IMDb, that's it. You brought that up and it's like, oh, she's not even going to be in any more episodes. Like, oh, she's dead. And then boom, she pops up. So good fake out, really good. You know what I mean? Kind of predictable, but not so much. They did it in a way where it could have went either way. So I like the way they did that. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I mean. Once again, nothing's black and white in this show.
Mm-hmm.
No one's definitely alive. No one's definitely dead. No one is on this team. No one's on the other team. There's always something right in between for everything. I think this ending showed us that nothing is just exactly the way it seems. So yeah, I think Dama is going to be a problem, and I think Dama is going to set Maggie up. She sees her as competition for Herschel's affection. I wouldn't be surprised that Dama never had a child.
I could see that too. I could definitely see that too. But I can also see the Dama trying to convince Maggie to help them. You know what I mean? This is why your son is doing this. This is why you need to be a better mother, blah, 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 blah. You need to come over. I could see that, right? It's either she wants to get rid of Maggie or she sees Maggie can be an ally. And I think having Herschel there to try and convince her to, hey, Mom, you know, this is what we need to do and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see where that's going to go.
Well, we don't have to wait that long.
Yeah, facts. Nzo, have you ever seen the movie by Stephen King? What movie? I've seen a lot of Stephen King movies, but which one are you talking about?
Every book has been either a TV show or a movie.
It did not do well as a movie because it could never be at the time, but we are so far with AI that it's real.
Oh, The Cell?
The Cell. Oh, yeah, I seen it.
The Cell was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. We're going to watch the trailer for the next week episode. Tell you guys what you think, and let's check it out.
I was hoping we'd get to meet.
This is about Negan. I have to finish it.
The show's about to start. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Now, I can see why, because hold on, let me see if I get to it. Because when Maggie picks up the dog. So first I want to see that.
The show's about to start.
Let me pause there for a
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
That's Percy.
Yep.
Huh?
That looks like Percy. That looks like Percy.
Yeah, that's Percy.
Short haircut and everything. Yep.
Yeah. So Negan's gonna be fighting Percy. Interesting. Right? But then we get to hold on. Maggie picking up the bat. Somebody on the floor. Now that don't look like Negan.
That's Percy.
Oh, you think that's Percy?
Pearly. Yeah.
Pearly. Yeah, Pearly. Oh, you think Negan kills Pearly?
Yep. Now, what does that do with Maggie? How does she see him? It's gonna be something different because everything's saying that it's different for them. Will I be more surprised if we saw Maggie kill him, or I'll be more surprised if she saves him? Because I think what's going to happen is Herschel's going to say, "Oh, the only thing you have to do to get Herschel to believe you is to kill Negan.
Negan, yeah.
I need you to go kill Negan."
Mm-hmm.
And she sees that with Pearly and all that stuff. And does she choose Negan? I think she doesn't. I think she chooses to keep him alive, let him live, and then she gets and kills the Dama.
I need to keep myself occupied all day tomorrow and tomorrow night and Sunday, because I am going to be itching to watch this episode. Because it drops Saturday at 3:00 in the morning. I won't be able to watch it then. But I know Sunday when I wake up, I'm going to be like, oh, Walking Dead. No, I can't do it. So I'm not going to watch it. I'm tempted to, because we're bringing up a lot of good things and a lot of things that I'm interested in seeing of where it's going to go, right? Because if he does kill Pearly, Maggie picks up the bat and goes after him. I can see why, because Maggie knows about his daughters. Maggie knows about his kids. So now you took a father away from the kids, right? Not knowing. Well, I mean, Maggie kind of knows that he's on the Bruegel side. So
yeah, she's also not she don't trust Pearly either.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see, but I do think that I have more faith that Negan is going to be in trouble, and she's going to grab that bat and she's going to help Negan, right? That's why she's grabbing the bat, to go and help Negan right now, which is because you see it looks like an army, like either this army right there, either that's the Broad's army or that's New Babylon. But either way, that's New Babylon, right? So I don't know where all these New Babylonians came from, but it's going to be an issue. Not to mention, right? And before we go, the beginning of the trailer.
This is about Negan. I have to finish it.
Did I pass it? I think. Right there. Herschel and the Dharma are sitting on that roof watching everything go down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is showing me that she is the ringleader 100%. It was all her plan to get these two groups together at one time and maybe blow up the methane to kill everybody.
She's going to tell her, show Herschel that you love him. Kill Negan.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Right? It's interesting. I think we're going to find out a lot of information in the next episode. And I know they haven't really confirmed a season 3 yet, so we're not sure if there's going to be a season 3, so it could end anyway right now. I hope there's a season 3 and 4. I could do 2 more seasons of this. I'd be fine with that.
I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if it ends right here.
If this is the last one?
Yep.
You see, I wouldn't be surprised either. The only reason why I think there is, because when Daryl ended, right, it ended with Daryl and Maggie Daryl and Carol walking away, and It's like, okay, it could have been like, okay, this is the final one, but we can also do another story because they're still not where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling if that's gonna get a season 3, I'm hoping this gets a season 3. You know, both the seasons get 4 seasons, and then we get the big tie-in. So we'll see.
It depends on the numbers.
Yeah, 100%. If people are watching it or not. So we'll see. Brian, final thoughts for this episode and grade.
I think this is an unbelievable thought out series. I think this as a penultimate episode, this is really good. Answering some questions, but leaving some giant strands open that you can definitely answer within a 40-minute end of a show.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely gonna give this a solid A. I'm not giving it an A+. I'm not Nzo. I'm gonna give this definitely a solid A.
All About Crystal said, I heard they're in pre-production with a new showrunner. Excellent. Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Long as I know we're getting another season, I am good. Because
what if it's a new showrunner because there's no Negan?
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I love Walking Dead. I'll still watch it, but it just won't be the same without Negan for me. Like, for me, Negan has become like Rick, Negan. They're on the same level for me when I watch The Walking Dead. Like, I used to love watching it for Rick. Rick did some crazy-ish, and I love watching it for Negan. So Negan can't go. Negan can't go. I'm personally going to give it an A+, which I've given every episode this season an A+. So it's not going to stop in this one. And if I can go A+++ for episode 8, I will do that as well. No problem, you know. But said me too. Yeah, exactly. All about Crystal. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like this, it's great when you watch this show, and you know, especially for me, there's things I like in shows, right? I love when the bad guy wins. You know what I mean? I love watching movies or shows where the bad guy wins because we see good guys win so much that it's rare when the bad guy wins. It's cool, right? And I also love to see good redemption arcs. And I think Negan's redemption arc has been pretty damn good so far. And I think there's still more to come when it comes to that. So that's one of the reasons why I really love this show, you know? So that's just my opinion. But like I said, we will be back on Sunday to watch episode 8. It'll be a watch party. So make sure you guys come and join in and come watch it with us. It's going to be a great, great episode. And then we will do the breakdown. Probably do it on Tuesday this time, 100%. We'll see. You know what I mean? But we'll definitely make sure we do it on time this time. And yeah, make sure to sub to everybody on the channel. Spoiler Kings. Brian, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
And 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. We're live Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturday nights. We're going to talk about movies, TV shows. We're actually at 187th movie review. And we're going to hit 200 right at the same time we do Superman. And we'll try to hit 2,000 right around the same time, too. So help us out.
Absolutely. And make sure to stay tuned next week. There will be a stream coming up. It'll just be called 51. It's going to be a banger. So make sure to check that out as well.
Unbelievable. Let's go.
Make sure to check that out. It's going to be a banger. And I'm pretty sure that when Superman comes out, we're going to do some sort of review for it. You know what I mean? So make sure to check out all of that stuff too as well. Superman, Fantastic Four. I don't know about Jurassic Park. I'm not really in a rush to see that, to be honest with you. So I don't know.
It is the only one that I did not grab a ticket pre-sale for it.
I haven't seen Ballerina yet. I haven't seen
that.
What's the other one? How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't seen
that.
28 Years Later yet. So I still got a lot of movies to catch up with. You know, but thank you guys for coming in. Much appreciated. Make sure to check us out. Hit the notification so you don't miss any of the streams that we do. Sub to the Spoiler Kings and Mr. Danny Graham, aka The Road to Wisdom. Great channel over there. Great channel down here. So it's always a pleasure.
Great channel up there where you guys are already watching.
I appreciate it, but you know what I mean? Could be better, could be worse, but I enjoy doing what we're doing right now. So thank you everybody for coming in. Much appreciated. And we will see you on the next one. Peace, love, and hair grease.
I am inevitable.